Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube. Today is day number 27. So as we begin, let me open this up in a prayer. Father, teach us to be patient and wait on you, yet teach us also to be prudent and fast when you tell us to do something. While we need patience to wait on your word and wait on your promises, when you do tell us to do something, give us the strength to do it, and don't let us be slothful. Don't let us wait around when you actually command us to do something. Give us the strength to do it when you tell us, and just keep us in balance in that way of teaching us patience and teaching us how to act quickly. I just ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. 27. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Be careful not to set up everything for tomorrow, because you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. While yes, you do want to live in a way that you don't ignore the future. You don't just say throw caution to the wind and be like, oh, I'm going to die tomorrow. Let me spend all my money. Um, you're not promised tomorrow, so don't put all of your hope in it. Don't put everything in the hope of, oh, I can just do it tomorrow. If there's something that you need to change it today. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. Don't try to bring praise on yourself. When someone else congratulates you for something, it carries so much more weight than if you try to congratulate yourself. If you try to tell people how great of a person you are, you're going to sound like a fool. You're going to sound like you're just a prideful, arrogant person. But when other people heap praise onto you, then it's more worthy, because it's like, then people actually listen to them. When you hear something from a third person, it can carry more weight sometimes. Stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? As much as anger and wrath can destroy things, envy will destroy your life. And envy will absolutely demolish everything in your life. Being envious of something and believing that, nothing you have is worth it, believing that something else is going to be greater, having, envy towards, if I just have this, then I'll be happy, that will destroy your life more than any sort of anger ever will. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Truth that hurts is better than a lie that sounds good. If something hurts but it's the truth, that's better than trying to falsify, something kind. It's just, the truth will hurt a lot of times, but it's always, that's always the right decision to make. The full soul loatheth the honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. After eating like Thanksgiving or after you just ate Christmas dinner, no matter how good the food is, you can't eat another bite. No matter how good something might be, no matter how good that pie may look, you can't eat it. It's disgusting to you. But to anyone who's gone on a fast, if you've gone on, a 2 or 3 day fast, even eating a carrot tastes great. Like eating anything, even that is, the most bland of foods, tastes good after you fasted for a few days. Because it's just again, when you're full of something, no matter how good another one of it is, no matter how good something is, you want to vomit it up. You want to, it won't be pleasant to you because you're full. But when you've been starved of something, when you haven't had something, even the most minute thing will be pleasant to you. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. If a bird just leaves their nest unprotected, their little chicks or their eggs are going to just be destroyed. And so is, someone who just wanders away from their place that they live in. Someone who just, wanders and has no purpose and just is, misguided by everything. Their life is going to come crumbling down. Ointment and perfume. Ointment and perfume rejoices the heart. So does the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. A friend can build you up so much. It's amazing what some encouraging words can do for your life. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. A friend can be closer than family members. It doesn't matter what your blood relations to somebody are. It simply just matters what someone's actions are towards you, what someone's, relation is towards you. It can surpass any blood or any family relations. And it's just that it's better if you have a friend that's close to you than a brother who's just so distant. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foresees the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. If you know something is a temptation, and you go for it anyway, you're then going to get the punishment from it. It's where if you know something's a sin and you do it anyway, that's when God will punish you for it. Sometimes if you do something out of ignorance, the punishment won't be as bad. He'll stave off the wrath because you didn't know. But if you do something willingly, if you do something knowing that it's wrong, that's when you can end up getting the full punishment of something. Take his garment, that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. If somebody is given as their surety, or they're given their word for somebody else, hold them to it. Hold people to their word. If someone's taken a pledge for something, hold them to it. And in an earlier Proverbs it said it's not good to give your word for people that are strangers. But it's saying if someone else has done that, hold them to their word. Hold them to their word, whatever it is. If someone says they'll vouch for somebody, keep them to that. He that blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. It seems to be saying, it's like if you're too overly dramatic with blessings, if you're too overly dramatic with praising somebody, it can be worse. It's almost like it's almost like you're trying to get something out of the person. If you're just trying to say, oh, you're the most amazing person. Oh, if you're being too loud in the morning, it's like, okay, what's this person's deal? It's like if you compliment somebody, that's one thing, but when you go overboard with compliments, then all of a sudden you start feeling like this person wants something from me. This isn't normal. Like the complimenting in this way isn't normal. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her, hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which betrayeth itself. If you try to hide a sin you've done, it's like trying to hide the wind. Try to grab the wind and stop it from moving. It's not going to work. And the same thing like saying, ointment on your hand, which betrays itself. It's almost like if you put, perfume on one of your hands, it's not going to stay on your hand. Like you can't hide a smell that's on one of your hands. It's going to spread around. Other people are going to smell it. And the same with trying to hide a sin or hide, a person. Like what it might almost be saying here is trying to, hide an affair in your life. You can't do that. You can't keep sin in one part of your life. It's going to pass any blockade you try to put on it. It's going to pass any little box you put it in. And it's going to spread to your entire life. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. It's interesting how, as one person on their own can do great things. But sometimes if you have two people working in tandem, they can do more than two people working on their own. For instance, with a couple, a husband and wife can a lot of times do so much more than either of them could have done individually on their own. They might be able to do the work of 5 individual people working on their own because of the support they can give each other. And it says, iron sharpens iron. They can sharpen each other. They can hold each other up on bad days. They can hold each other's head high when they need it. On bad days, one person might be having a bad day, but the other person is having a good day, and they can hold that person up. It'll be rare for both the people to be going through the same problem, so one can almost always hold the other one up on their shoulders. And if both people are having good days, if both people are in a good spot in their life, then the amount of good they can do just skyrockets, because they'll both be holding each other up while being good themselves. And it's just that, companionship can be an amazing gift, even outside the bounds of marriage. Even if it's just, two brothers with each other, the amount, you and a friend can hold each other up, you can do more than either of you could have done on your own. Whoso keeps the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. If you care for something or someone, you're going to get the fruits of it. But if you just let the tree die, if you just let a relationship die, nothing's going to come from it. But if you're willing to nurture it, if you're willing to put into hard work, you're going to end up reaping the benefits. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. As some other translations put it, if you look into water, you're going to get a reflection back of your own face. In the same way, your heart is going to reflect who you are. Like, looking in water is going to reflect what your face actually looks like. Looking into someone's heart is going to reflect what that person actually acts like. It's going to reflect who that person actually is. And God's the only one that can look in our hearts, and God knows our hearts. So God knows who we truly are. God knows our deepest, darkest secrets. And it's just that, you can't hide from Him. You can't hide who you are from God. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. If you're forever pursuing pleasures of this world, you're never going to be satisfied. It's always going to be one more high. It's always going to be, if I can, have one more vacation, get one more raise, have one more job, if I can sleep with one more beautiful woman. You're never going to be satisfied when you pursue pleasure. Pleasure in and of itself cannot bring satisfaction. As the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Again, going back to the Amplified. I should just do this in the Amplified version. As the refining pot for silver and the furnace for gold brings forth all the impurities of the metal, So let a man be in his trial of praise, ridding himself of all that is base or insincere. For a man is judged by what he praises and by what he boasts. By what you talk about, by what you, like I said, what you praise, the things you like, the things you enjoy to do, that's what you're going to be judged by. It's not only of how you conduct yourself in life. It's also the things that grab your attention that people will notice in you. No matter how good of a man you may seem to be, if you just watch trash on TV all day, people are going to see that and be like, wait, this doesn't add up. Like, this must be actually who the person is if they're willing to consume this all the time. It's just everything in your life has to be aligned to the same purpose. When you have yourself split, it's as Jesus says, no man can serve two masters. You're going to gravitate towards one or the other. You can't stay in the middle at all. There are so many words in this, that's one I do not understand. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Say no matter how much you pound stuff into a fool, almost like how you pound grain or mortar, like just sifting through something, or like how you're, almost like if you're, let's just say if you're baking and you're mixing your ingredients together, no matter how much you beat that, no matter how much you beat a fool, the foolishness isn't going to depart from them. Again, it has to be a choice of the person. You correct the person as much as you can, but it's the whole idea of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It has to be on that person's choice to choose righteousness. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doeth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountain are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, and the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. Riches aren't going to last forever. Whatever you have here on earth, take good care of it. Be a good steward to the things God's given you, and use them in the way they're meant to be used. Yet realize that it will all pass away one day. Your riches will not last forever. No matter what you've built up, generations to come, your kids are going to end up tearing it down. No matter what, sort of kingdom that Solomon built and David had, they've all been destroyed. No matter what, Alexander the Great did, no matter what any people throughout history have done, it's all going to be torn down. You can even see that in the U.S. right now. The amount that it's changed from when it started just a mere few hundred years ago. Nothing lasts forever in this world, so don't hold on to things down here too much. If you put your confidence in the things of men, if you've put your confidence in the things that men have built, it will fail you. The only way to be assured of anything in this life is to put your confidence in the Lord. He is the only thing that will not change. The Lord never changes. God never changes himself. He is the only absolute constant in this world. Everything else goes up and down. Everything in life, whether it be riches, health, friends, everything goes up and down. But God stays constant. So put your trust in the Lord and not in the confidence of men. And we're done for another day. So Lord willingly, I'll see you all tomorrow.